All right. Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of the Good in the Head podcast. We're very blessed to have as a guest on the show today, Elizabeth Tennelle, who is a coach and mentor for the Lightworker Academy. I met her through Instagram, and we're going to discuss today her story, her life story, everything that she's been through personally, in hopes that we can learn something from all that she's learned and acquired throughout her life experience. And maybe we'll find something in there that will empower us to implement something that may be helpful to us personally. After that, we'll also discuss how to become a member of the Lightworker Tribe and how to sign up for the Heart of Inspiration newsletter, all of which was created by Dr. Lisa Brewer. Welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Welcome. It's nice to see you again. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah. As soon as we were talking, I felt an immediate connection the last time. And I was like, oh, wow, this woman has a story to tell. And I was super excited to share it with the listeners. So thank you so much for choosing to be a guest and share with us.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we had an instant click, like we got each other, mentally and energetically. So it's nice to hear from you again and talk to you, and especially to share my journey and my story with everyone in the hopes that at least one person can benefit from it.
I believe that it's possible that as each of us share our stories with others, that it sends out a vibrational ripple effect energetically, and that everything truly affects everything. Let's start with your younger years and your life. Where are you from? What was family life for you, and what was it like growing up?
Wow. Gosh, earliest memory was, hanging with the family, on the weekend on Sunday dinner in the kitchen. Grandma's cooking, people are talking. I was maybe 3. That's my earliest memory. So family time, really good. Earliest spiritual memory would be about the age of 4, I think. And that's when things shifted to where, because of what I experienced and what I saw, I was put into a Christian private school to, I guess, guide me toward the right path. So, yeah, I'm the eldest of 4. Lived in Southern California most of my life. Have lived in the South for about 9 years. So that's a whole nother caveat story for another time. But childhood growing up, went to school, did good in school, always liked the mysterious, always knew there was a story behind the story, behind that story. And did I get admonished for asking questions? Oh yeah. Did I get told to no, we don't talk about that? No, we don't say things. Yeah, I did. And that hinders you growing up as an adult. So I got into sports in junior high and high school, soccer, track, did that. And then graduated high school, had the kids, 2 kids within 16 months. So I don't recommend it, but it is a fun ride if you can do it. Yeah, you learn a lot about human behavior. So long story short, 2016, I'm at a wonderful amusement park and having a good time. And the next thing I know, I feel a hit on my head. And I look up because it feels like I fell down. So I look up and I see myself standing and then walking away. Now it's 2016, so I'm in my 40s. I know what I'm looking at. So I kind of freak out and I go back in. That's how it reemerged, I guess, my spirituality, is that knock on the head. And ever since then, it's been a ride. So my childhood was normal. There were traumas, but nothing to where it was so astronomical that it caused me to just totally fracture and split. You know what I mean? I mean, it was, mom and dad are still married, you know, like, yeah, it was normal.
Interesting how you say that, to fracture and split, because a lot of traumas that people endure and go through in their lives, that's the pain and the suffering that's caused by that is literally what is sometimes the biggest blessing. And it causes them to fracture and split and re-identify as not just this human body, but something else as well.
Exactly. And I was raised to kind of repress the mental, emotional things. It's more like when your kid falls down and you're like, okay, get up. Don't worry about it. Get up. But I'm bleeding. You know, I need a band. No, get up. You're fine. And that small lesson just makes it harder as an adult to really face those traumas, to really face what you're going through. And this summer's been heaven, hell, I guess, for me, as those past traumas reemerge and the shadows reemerge and the thoughts, the mindsets, the perceptions reemerge, and you fight that every single day. Um, and I wake up every morning for another battle to say, hey, I'm still here. I'm still happy. And yeah, I went through some hell, but still
That-
kicking.
That's beautiful. And to wake up with the thought that, hey, this is my opportunity to create a new day, knowing what I know. And I don't know about you, but I get frustrated sometimes because what I've learned over the past few years and the mindsets and the habits I've adopted, the different shifts in perspective, I know better, but I still find myself falling back into the old habitual ways of doing and being. And I don't do better just yet. You know, I keep trying, and every day is an opportunity every time we wake up.
It is. And to be wise enough to show yourself that compassion and that forgiveness to say, Pete, it's okay, dude. We're gonna try again. We're gonna do this, you know, and it's, I'm not gonna say it's easy to think like that. It takes practice. It's practice. You have to believe it. You have to believe it.
Before we go back to the age of 4, your first spiritual experience, I'd love to hear that story. When you in 2016 got hit and separated out of your body, was it actual something physical that did hit you, or was it just bam, it was time?
It was just like an energetic push, like someone just, I don't know how to explain it because I've always felt energy, but it just felt like someone just went, hey, I need you to see this. You've seen it. Okay, let's get to work. You
That's
know, and
awesome.
I'm like, okay, you know. So it wasn't a physical hit. I wasn't in physical pain. It was more of a, okay, so we're doing this now. This is real. This is, yeah, this is X-Files. This is real.
And I'm guessing that is when your new life began. That day just started unfolding new things for you. And here you are now doing what you're
Yes.
doing.
Yes, it did.
So 4 years old, can you tell us more about that? I'm interested to hear that story because at 4, I mean, you're still pretty close to what you truly were at birth, right? I mean, what was going on then for you?
You know, I just remember going to preschool and not having many friends because I thought that they were silly. Like, you know, why do girls have, I play with the boys? It was just weird to me. We're all the same. What, you know, and so that's all was going on. I think my brother was maybe a year old, so he was just born. So there was that sibling rivalry of, I've been here first and now you come in, you know, which is fine, normal. But what happened was I was sleeping and I remember waking up, and in my room, the closets had those folding doors, like, you know, bam, bam. And I remember, you know, okay, turning over like this, and I look at my closet door and it's open. It's never open. It's always shut. It's just me. And there's 4 Okay, to me as a 4-year-old, they appeared like they look like the members of Kiss, the rock band Kiss. That's what they look like. But there were 4 of them. I wasn't scared. I wasn't afraid. They didn't say anything. They were just there. And then they were gone. And I was like, okay, cool. Who's going to close the door? Because I'm not getting up.
Not at
To
4.
close the door. So of course I yell for my parents, they come in and I'm like, I'm who knows what I'm saying. There's 4 people, my dad's like freaking out, looking under the, everywhere. And yeah, that was my first experience. And then I was told by someone else that I did tell my mother that I had seen her mother, who had passed away maybe 10 months before I was born. So I don't remember that, but that's what I've been told. So yeah, I've been like this probably my whole life. I thought it was normal to talk to things you see and didn't know other people weren't seeing them. So
I don't think you're alone in that. I've got stories in my family. My wife has stories in her family, and they seem unexplainable, yet I'm sure there's an explanation. I mean, in all the world, now the scientists at this year are proposing that with our 5 senses, we can only actually experience 1% of all that is actually going on. That's interesting to me. So if we weren't in these bodies, as the, meat suit, VR suit, the vehicle we're using to, interact with all of this in this physical realm, this human space, it's possible that we would experience something completely different and more fully so.
yeah.
After all of that, I'm imagining your parents were, um, depending on their belief system, either upset and scared or excited. And all parents, I think, are well-meaning and loving, especially towards little ones. And in their loving way, you're explaining that they actually stuck you in a Christian school and wanted you to kind of go down that path with those beliefs. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Which the area we lived in wasn't the best. So I think it was, for safety reasons too,
Mm-hmm.
that I be in that private school. But I think it was mostly for me to learn the fundamentals of God and Jesus and Holy Spirit. And you have to go to church and you have to recite your prayers and things like that. So it did teach me routine. It taught me ritual. It taught me, um, what is this word? How to repeat things like memorization, because we had to memorize the Bible. I mean, we had to memorize books of the Bible, like the whole book. So I know it was out of love they did it. They were probably scared. My dad grew up Baptist, I think, and then my mom grew up Episcopalian. So no, never what I was seeing and talking about really was the opposite,
A little
of
foreign for them in their life experience.
yes.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I really, I love that. And I love what you're doing now. And let's skip forward now to 2016. You had your experience, which is incredible. And then what began happening and unfolding for you at that time?
So at that time, I used to work at a company in a business office, and we used to listen, to your headphones as you type. And someone said, "Oh, have you heard of YouTube?" And I'm like, "You what?" Like never, never heard of it. So put it on my phone, go on YouTube. And I think my friend said to watch this show. I forgot what the show was. I'm like, okay, and it's about a lady who channels her son who's passed on. And I was like, whoa, they actually show this on YouTube, really? I'm just watching Friends over here, so
Totally out of your norm, in other
totally out
words.
of my norm. So I went down that rabbit hole and I found tarot, I found astrology, I found astral projection, I found so much. And even though when I speak to others about YouTube and they're like, oh, horrible, all I see is, garbage and this, I'm like, but what are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking for garbage and you're looking, that's what you're going to find. I haven't seen any so far from what I've been looking for. You know, I learned how to meditate. I learned mindfulness. I learned chakras. I learned that I was clairaudient. Um, that energies communicate with me through music and sound. So I loved it. And that's how it started. And then um, it took years because I'm very hard-headed and very stubborn. So through, I think, up until 2020, 4 years, um, I had visitors at night, uh, you know, talk to me and give me messages. I learned I was a psychic medium, as and people that have passed on would just randomly show up, and I'd be like, okay, you know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Like, I go to work at 5:30. Um, can it wait? So um, I've gone through painful experiences of DNA upgrades, energetic upgrades. It's been a roller coaster of a lot of things. And what I've learned is to let go of the outcome and don't expect anything. Because if I ask someone, well, how do you meditate? How do you do? Okay, that's good for them. But for me, it may not work. So it took me 4 years. Met Lisa in, I think, October 2020 through her virtual retreat. And that's when things busted wide open. But YouTube really, really helped, was a factor in me learning on my own, pretty much, what was
That is
going
so
on in my
awesome.
life. Yeah.
So one of the major tools that you've found useful for you in your life experience is the art of letting go.
Yes.
That's something that actually, for a couple of weeks now, has been my challenge. And I've been seeking clarity and answers from so many sources on how to let go. Years ago, my mother said something that floored me. I'd never heard it before, and it's that expectations are premeditated resentments. So I went through decades of my life with all these expectations of myself, of others, and literally unknowingly had intentionally at that time created a connection that was almost toxic with myself and with everyone around me because of the expectations. I was setting myself up to resent myself and to resent others at all times. And letting go of expectations of self and others and easing into what we truly are and just being. I've found when I do that, it seems that everything just unfolds as it needs to rather than how we want it to. And it's more beautiful. Do you have any pointers, tips, or tricks on how to really, truly let go and just be?
Um, it's funny because I actually go to school on the side for a bachelor's degree, and I took a history class. And they taught us about historical context, right? Because books written in the 40s may have different terminology, in regards to books written now. When you apply that to your life, so let's say you had an uncle that always told you you were stupid, you would never amount to anything, you put that in your mind. And you take that to heart. You're like, why is he doing that to me? I didn't do anything. Yeah, I made a mistake, whatever. The question is, where is your uncle coming from? Did his father or his mother or someone in his life do that to him at your age? That's all he knows. And no one told him you can turn it around. For me, I won't say the mantra because it's a bad word, but I just was like, forget it. Just everything, forget it. I can't control anyone but me. I can control my thoughts, my emotions, my body, and my spirituality. That's it. I can't control my dog. I can't control the candle. I can't control anything but me. And that was hard. It's hard because,
Especially at first.
yeah, because there's all these books out there on, how to be successful with people and how to make people love you and all this stuff. And it's like, but there's free will. And then there's me having control over myself. So when you learn that you're only responsible for that part of yourself, those 4 parts, and how you respond to everyone else and how you react, right? Because those are 2 different things, reacting and responding. That's when you learn they gonna do what they gonna do. They're gonna say what they're gonna say. They're gonna think what they're gonna think. There's nothing you can do, but you know the truth. And that's how I had to live, because I've been through so much where people have tried to put me down and tried to take things away from me and try to keep me from expressing my thoughts. And it's like, you don't control me. Who do you think you are to say that you're entitled to tell me what to think? You know, it's like, for example, just real quick story. That's why I'm scared of horses, dude. I mean, honestly, they think for themselves. So I'm not getting on an animal that thinks for itself and is going to just, so it's kind of like that. And then I said, okay, so they said that because that guy told that to them, or, something happened to them. And when you look at it from their perspective, from their life story, you feel so sorry for them. You feel pity, you feel empathy and sympathy and compassion, and you want to forgive them. And when you forgive them, you forgive yourself. And bam, it's let go. It's not a short process. It's not something you do on a worksheet and you're done. I mean, this is stuff that like I've worked at 1:30 in the morning or at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it just comes. And when you spoke about letting it flow, there's no correct how to work. There's no correct time for digging deep into yourself. Those seeds are there. So letting go is a process. Letting go is really understanding everyone's perceptions in that one moment and evaluating it from an objective, higher place to see the bigger picture. And that's how I've been doing it. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect. There are things I have not let go of. Okay. There, like someone gave my dog a bad haircut. I have not let go of that. But in regards to just the shit that you hold on to from childhood and teenager and, other relationships and work, it's like, how's that serving me now? It's not, doesn't make me feel good. Don't like it. Bye.
Yeah.
Declutter.
Detaching from the need for certain outcomes to be certain ways, or people to act in certain ways or speak in certain ways, or in order for you to be comfortable around them. That I now view as unnecessary, but I spent my whole life doing just that and judging and criticizing, especially myself, but others as well. And was there a certain time in your life when you were able to finally learn to truly love and accept and appreciate yourself, thereby empowering you to do the same for others?
Yeah, it was. It was when I walked out on a toxic relationship. Didn't have a place to stay, didn't have a place to go. But it was like, wow, hi, Elizabeth. Hi, it's you again. Hi, we've missed you, And sorry about the dog. She likes to talk. It's just very scary, I will honestly say, to find yourself again, because it's like finding an old friend. But then I went through emotions of feeling guilty for not taking care of that, for not taking care of me, feeling guilty for staying in situations I knew I shouldn't have stayed in, and but loving myself, I truly, as of this day, yes, I have found an appreciation for all my strengths and all my weaknesses, because we all have weaknesses. And I embrace those weaknesses and I don't make excuses for them. They are what they are. Some of them I work on and they're strengths now, right? But others of them, it is what it is. So loving yourself is hard. I stay off of social media. I stay off. I don't watch the news. I don't
Mhm.
read major magazines. I still listen to CDs, honestly.
So you intentionally choose to program your own mind and soul with content in alignment with where you want to head rather than allowing social media or big pharma commercials or anything else program your mind for you.
Correct. I have taken the responsibility. I'm holding myself accountable for what I see, what I speak, and what I hear and what I think. I'm not blaming it on anybody else because I chose to turn on the TV. I chose to go on that social media website. I chose to watch that movie because there's times like my dad will be watching something violent and I'm like, nope, out, bye. Or there's something news story and I'm like, nope, this is an argument, I'm out.
You really strike me as someone who is a true empath, who can really feel the energies in a room and in general. And as the moon cycles come and go, or the sun does its thing, I mean, everything is energetic and vibrational. And so I'm guessing at times that has to be a little overwhelming for you.
Yes.
How do you deal with that overwhelm and kind of navigate that?
Oh boy. Um, at first, I thought I was going crazy, honestly. I found out I'm very sensitive to lunar cycles. Like this full moon right now, I've been tired for 2 days. I can't do anything. um, yes, I feel energy. Sorry, I forgot your question, Pete.
Oh, how you navigate the
Okay,
overwhelm.
there you go. I'm trying
That's
to navigate
fine.
it.
That is fine. Trying is helpful.
Yes. There's so many different things I've learned to use, so I can only tell you what I know up until now.
Cool.
Discerning what's my energy and what's not is key. That's the key. Because there's sometimes when I'm in a great mood, I'm doing my thing, and then that shadow comes, and it's like, wait, hold, no, it's not me. What's going on? Because I'm fine. Kids are fine. Everything's fine. I use crystals a lot. I use grounding crystals, especially only because I have issues with grounding. I personally never felt like I fit in here. So I've always had the issue with getting in touch with Gaia and Mother Nature and things like that. So walking in nature and hiking helps a lot because it's quiet. You're with the earth, you can touch the leaves, you can hug the trees, whatever. Meditation, sometimes. I don't know if I'm ADD, I don't know what it is, but I can meditate for 3 minutes and I'm like, after that, no. Deep breathing helps. And I don't know, just kind of reading the energy, just practicing alchemy and reading the signs of, I look at the birds, I look at the trees, I look at where the sun sets, I look at where the moon is setting. Um, there's people that can smell the rain, I dig into those energies, and where those energies come from, I don't know. There are times I cannot handle it. I cannot. And that's when I have to do my automatic writing. I have to get it out. Just right. So
you really feel the
yes, I do.
extremes. I love that. I think that's where it's at. That's what life is about. For 15 years, I was in 1999 told that I was extremely depressed, anxious, and that I had bipolar disorder. And for 15 years, I said, oh yeah, I am bipolar. I identified as a disease, and it really messed me up for a while. Once I realized that, hey, I really believe that may have been a misdiagnosis or some way to control me, because they gave me medications, big pharma stuff like lithium, Depakote, Depakine, extreme mood stabilizers that knocked me on my ass all those years. And I wasn't able to think, react, or feel at all. There went all my energy, all my resources to create anything more beautiful, period. And once I got off of all those things in 2014, with the help of a ex-wife, I literally altered all my practices. I could think again and really start creating. And I saw some beautiful things begin to unfold. And that was magical. So to really feel the extremes is a gift.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've always been that way. So it's, I didn't know that. I totally sympathize with your story because I think it was in 2004, I think, 4 or 6. My PCP was like, I think you suffer from depression. I'm like, what's that? Yeah, I'm stressed out. I have 2 kids. I have a job. I'm trying to pay rent. Yeah, everyone's stressed out. And he's like, no, it's different. So he put me on one pill. That didn't work. So I had to move back to California, diagnosed with bipolar as well, diagnosed with so many things: anxiety disorder, panic disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, agoraphobia, all the stuff. And I owned it, wore it like a badge. I'm bipolar, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But as of 2021, being put on 11 different medications to where I couldn't eat, my throat is so scarred, I have to drink liquid lidocaine sometimes. I've had 4 upper endoscopies, and the GI's like, did someone pour battery acid down your throat? I'm like, no, because you're completely scarred. So when I decided to take back my power and really research as to what these medications are made of,
Mm-hmm.
they're not made of anything in our body. Like, it's weird. So when I did more research, forgot his name. I think his name's Anthony Williams. He's a medical medium. And there are things like kava kava, root that are good, great for mood. Spirulina or whatever, I forgot what it's called. Very good. And these are chemicals found in our body. We already make them. I mean, I found natural supplements to help reconnect your neurotransmitters, to grow new neurotransmitters.
Lion's Mane does
So,
that.
yeah. And when I told my provider, I was proud of myself. I'm like, I got off of all this stuff that's hurting my stomach and I can eat. Like, I can drink coffee, without burning. And his response was, well, you should have talked to me first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I got that too.
and the other thing he said was, you have to be very careful. You could have caused this, and these supplements can, I said, and finally I said, so you're telling me that as a medical doctor, you want me to take medicine that physically causes me pain in order to be mentally stable? What kind of life is that? It's not a
His
quality of life.
his definition of mentally stable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I told him I was not going back on just wasn't.
That takes some courage, man.
Well, when you can't eat, and you drop a lot of weight, you can't eat, you're tired, you can't sleep, and you tell your doctor that, he's like, well, here's another medication.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but I came to you for you to take me off.
Yeah.
And you're putting it on. So yeah, it's, I will say it's not easy to get off of big pharma. I will say that because I was on Depakote, I was on gabapentin, I was on some serious stuff that you don't just stop. You have to taper. So I would like to say that you have to taper off. But I feel clearer. I think with clarity. It's like you're awake. It's like you see, you're awake and you see, and you're not believing the bullshit that people are putting down on you anymore. And it scares people, though. It really does.
Oh, you're doing something different and it's working for you. I'm unhappy and here you are happy. I'm going to tear you down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
All
don't
of
get
us
my
coming from
copay, I don't get my
yeah,
copays. I don't get my,
money.
it's freeing. It's scary, but it's freeing. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it. The only thing I can't get over is the anxiety and panic attacks. And I think that is something with energy that's around me.
I
Because I
really
know Wi-Fi affects me bad sometimes too.
interesting. Yeah. And that makes total sense to me. There's so many radio waves and it's overwhelming. So when you said you go out in nature for walks and I mean, and especially barefoot, talk about grounding. They've got these little blankets. I bought one a month ago just to experiment with it, where you plug it into the wall, just the ground part of the outlet, and then it's grounded through the home into the earth. And then you lay this little $30 blanket from Amazon on the bed, and your skin touches it, and you're grounded for all the hours you're sleeping, just like you would be standing outside on the earth.
Wow,
That's a
that's
huge tool I
awesome.
just came across through a movie called The Grounding Effect or The Earthing Effect. And there are so many tools that I'm still seeking out, and limitless, of the things that we can try to really get those 4 pillars into check. We got a physical body where nutrition is super important, movement, exercise, breathing practices, like you had mentioned. And then we got the spiritual side, which that's in my opinion, our true identity. That's what we truly are while we're temporarily downloaded into this physical realm, to experience and learn and connect. Then we've got the mental, which we think these thoughts, we reprogram our subconscious mind through repetition to then unfold a completely different reality, right? And then there's the emotional part, the 4th pillar, where we feel because of all of these things interacting and waving around all the time. And sometimes those wave crash against the cliff. We have a rough day or a week, and there were times just like you, I had rough years. But now, doing what we're doing, learning what we're learning, implementing new skills and attributes, habits, practices,
Mhm.
life just keeps getting more beautiful. But
Yes.
self-acceptance, self-love, self-appreciation, I think is where it all begins. When we can do that for ourselves, we begin doing it for others, and everything, the whole universe opens up to us.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And don't you feel a joy, like a bliss, like this happy satisfaction now that you're not chasing anything anymore? You're the creator. You're creating it and you're receiving what the universe or source has to give you. And it's easy to talk about now. We've been through it. We
Yeah.
got there.
But in
But
the
going
fire,
through
it
it,
burns, man.
it really, like I tell people, they're like, "Oh, I've been to the pits of despair," and I'm like, "Yeah. Did you know there's like multiple levels under that, and they come from the side, and
When you least expect it.
when you least expect it."
You said
So,
something about chasing. What happens when you chase something? It runs
so
away, right?
it runs away. It runs away. Exactly.
But what happens when you become something attractive in your inner world?
Oh, things just like, and that's negative and positive too. So that's what people have to realize is you really have to mind your thoughts. And that's been one of my mantras for myself, is mind your thoughts because they're so powerful. And now it's mind my words because I am working on the swearing. Been swearing since 2nd grade, but words, like you said, sound is frequency and energy. And when you put thoughts and words together, I mean,
It's a
wow, imagine the
spell.
positivity you could do instead of the negativity. And it is a spell or a prayer or an intention or however you want to say it. And yeah, the mind is powerful. And I really wish there were more studies on, I'm sorry, more true studies on the mind and how it works.
Yeah, they're starting to figure out that many of these studies are perpetuated with falsehoods in order to gain monetarily, and that's pitiful. However, there are some studies out there to be found as well where the truth does come out. And I think that we can feel that. We know inside of us what's true and what's not, what aligns and what doesn't, even if we don't agree with it.
Yeah, because there's been times I'm like, Spirit, really, you want me to do what? I don't feel good about that. But you have to trust. You have to just trust. I just see the picture of the tarot card of the Fool, and he's walking off the cliff. He has 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot on the cliff, and there's a dog barking at his heels. And he's just like, no, dude, I'm going. I got everything I need. I'm going. So yeah, I have no regrets though. I
That is
have no
beautiful.
regrets.
Acceptance of all that you've been through, all that you've practiced, and all that you've done and said and thought. To accept it all and have no regrets is one of the keys to exponential growth.
And letting go. When you have no regrets, it helps in letting go. Because I used to think I let go, but then a trigger, right, would come. Someone would say a word or a topic. Again, like word vomit. And it'd be like, darn it, I thought I got rid of that. Darn it,
Yeah.
So
And we get
yeah.
an opportunity to practice what we've learned yet again.
Mhm.
Momentum does not discriminate. And we can either use that momentum in a positive creation or in a negative creation, whatever we define personally as positive and negative, because it's different for everyone. The mantras that you were talking about, where did they come from, and what have been the most helpful repetitious mantras for you?
I don't know where my mantras come from, only because I communicate with my spirit guides a lot. They help me a lot. So the 2 mantras, I think my mantra through 2020 was fuck it, pretty much. Just, you know what? I'm working through the pandemic. I'm going to school through the pandemic. I'm shut in and quarantined in a toxic relationship through the pandemic. So, you know what? F it. F it. I'm just going to have fun and find my inner child. I didn't know I was finding my inner child, but I was like, I'm going to color. I'm going to watch cartoons. I'm going to eat cereal, And that helped, was just saying, yeah, whatever. I'm watching cartoons right now. The dishes can wait. The dishes are going to be there, you know? Um, this year has been more about mind your thoughts, and how it comes in my head is mind your thoughts. That's how it comes in. And it's very powerful because you think before you even know you're aware of what you're thinking. Like, I talk to myself horribly. I wouldn't talk to anybody like that the way I talk to myself sometimes.
Has that been
Um,
improving for you?
yes, it does. It does improve. It has improved a lot from a long time ago. Every once in a while I go back in, but yeah, it's mind your thoughts. And it's just basically how powerful, because for example, I uh, did a new moon manifestation for the last 2 new moons. And I have been praying for a place to live that was spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically safe for me, to where I could fulfill my purpose and not be ashamed of what I am. And long story short, I now live with my parents. I've been assigned to the master bedroom or suite. I have to clean it. But this master suite comes with a bathroom, a walk-in closet, 2 sink vanity, master bedroom, and then an office behind the master bedroom. Now, it didn't happen, right? Thought I was going to be on my own. But the universe provided it, right? I just asked for it. I believed it. I let it go, and it came. And so that's why I preach mind your thoughts, mind your thoughts, mind your thoughts, because at the end of the day, all you have is you. All you have is yourself. And if you don't like yourself, you're going to be spending a lot of time with yourself if you're by yourself. So be happy, learn to love yourself, all the scars, all the stretch marks, all the, unpainted toenails, whatever it is. Yeah, love every part of it because it's you. And I don't think the universe makes mistakes when it comes to us. So
I agree with that. I love that. That's beautiful. That's so cool. You know, and there's something to be said about environment. Our inner environment, in my opinion, is by far the most important place to clean up and organize and intentionally create in a beneficial way for us. And that's going to look different for everyone. And that's perfect. That's the way it's supposed to be. And to be able to then connect with that beautiful inner place in such a way that it completely, constantly emits and transmits outward. And then it's so attractive to all that is that you attract the physical to match the inner beauty that you're creating. I can see why you now live where you live and you are safe in a good place, and being able to do what you're doing more often and better, you know, than you were before. That's exciting
yeah,
to me. That's a creation.
thank you. It's awesome. I say thank you more as thank you for saying that, not as if, I'm taking responsibility, but yeah, it's, at first I looked at it like, oh gosh, I got to clean up the master bedroom. It hasn't been cleaned since 1988. This is a lot of work. But then this morning when I was getting ready to come in here for your podcast, there's this big picture window in the room and there's the full moon right there and the whole room is illuminated with moonlight.
Wow.
And I'm like, holy moly, this is freaking, well, I won't tell the words, but it's like, this is freaking awesome. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you, you know, and I can't wait to, wake up to that every full moon and see the full moon when I wake up because I don't sleep. I don't know if people know this. It's just a caveat. Maybe it's just me, but the higher vibrational you go, the less I sleep. And I don't know if that's just me, but I sleep like on 3 to 4 hour shifts. And then I'm up for 2 hours and then I sleep again. So I'm up at 3 a.m. to watch the moon
That's
set.
awesome. What a
Yeah,
blessing.
it is. It really is. Because it's just, I wish I could be by the ocean, but
Who
that's
doesn't?
too cold.
Oh my God. Who doesn't
Yeah.
wish that?
Yeah.
So the full moon and the moon cycles. I've observed my wife now. She actually bathes with crystals, and she's got a collection of rocks that are they're beautiful, and she keeps them by the bed, and they're always being energized by the love in the room. And on full moons, sometimes she'll go outside and display them beautifully and let the moon energize them, and then she bathes with them again. You know, and I think that energetically, there's something to that. You know, like 10, 15 years ago, I would have been never in a million years having this conversation with anyone, let alone observing that and not judging it. But now I've finally come to a place in my life where acceptance and love and appreciation are a big part of it, not just for me, but for everyone and everything. And I still find myself slipping back in old judging patterns. And that's part of the human ego. And that's a constant allowance and reconnection opportunity, you know, to be able to accept that, hey, I am also in this human body doing human things, but my true nature is pure love and light and energy and vibration. And to be able to have a daily practice like meditation or breathing or grounding, you know, that realigns with true source energy and realigns me with what I truly am while I continue to upgrade the who I identify as in this body is just so magical. And it's something we're all doing all the time. And it's just incredible to watch, especially when I get to meet people like you and there's that instant boom, there's a connection, you know, oh, I see you, there you are in that body. And here I am in this one. But really, we're all the same, you know, all
Yeah.
that same energy and light.
Yeah. That's, you're right. You're exactly right. We are all the same um, energy and light. And it's tricky, isn't it, to kind of know what you know about your energetic being. And there's things about this world that you don't like because it doesn't work like it did. up there. You know, you got to wait. Things don't just appear when you think about them. You have to wait for the mail or wait for the red light to turn green. And it's a truly humbling experience, number one, because you don't know everything. You don't have the answer to everything. And at the same time, I truly honor this experience because there's something to this earth. There's something to this earth that people are paying attention to. And there are special, special beings and properties here, just in this planet alone. I mean, and I don't think people value that. The moon, I call her La Luna, love her to death. Always been close to her. Just starting to learn about the planets. So that's going to be a real rabbit hole when I learn astronomy, going down that one and applying it to astrology and doing that. But I'm just very honored that you shared that you truly do see that energy and that feminine aspect and that masculine aspect, the 3D and the 5D combining into one, and being aware of that experience, owning it. And then you show gratefulness, like you actually choked up. And it's like, I love this life now, you know, and a lot of people, they only see the negative, and everything you've been through, you're like, no, I see the positive. No matter what, I am grateful for whatever I have. And I don't meet a lot of people that say that. So thank you for sharing that with me. That really meant a lot, that you honor, especially your spouse, in regards to, you know, her charging her crystals and bathing in the moonlight and things like that. I mean, that's awesome.
She's such a gift to me and everyone around her. You know, I'm blessed truly to have her in my life. Really am. You know, up until 2014, I mean, I told you I was on all those medications and I was in a very, very dark place emotionally, spiritually, and especially with the programming that I was repeating in my mind that manifested and created this physical reality and everything I was experiencing as a human. And in 2014, I came across content through YouTube. Thank God for YouTube, you know, and it gave me an idea to begin saving quotes and using them as programs and rereading them all the time throughout the day until through repetition, I was able to sort of displace everything that was me at that time with new programming. And it sort of displaced all the darkness with light. And that's sort of a visual image, but the programming, the things that we repeat in our minds, I believe really make a huge difference. And on the website, goodinthehead.com, there's a link in the menu that says my daily perspective shift. And for years now, every single day, once a year, I would rewrite what I had written the previous year. And I noticed over the years that it changed so much habitually, neurologically, physically, chemically. It was through that saving the quotes and reading them that reprogrammed my subconscious and allowed me to literally create a new version of my quote unquote self. And that's available to anybody. And that's a huge tool that I've found that works wonders. Writing, like you had mentioned.
Yeah, I think writing is very underrated. I mean, I think, like, I heard they're taking cursive out of school or something. So I'm like, okay. But Lord, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, I have not had coffee
That's fine.
this morning. Um,
Your writing practice.
yeah, what I was gonna mention is that really those affirmations, because I'm a word person, right? My bachelor's degree is in creative writing and English lit. So I love words and definitions. And with those affirmations, if the word didn't look right, like, you know, you say things and it's like, that word doesn't sound right. You know, what does that mean? So I'd look it up in the dictionary and I'm like, oh, that's what that means. And what I realized is I'm one of those people that's dad. What does this mean, dad? I ask people. I don't look for myself. So I was basing my knowledge on what other people's definitions were. In actuality, when I looked at the word myself, the mantra made totally like a lot more sense. A lot more sense. Like, for example, fear, the word fear, right? Anxiety, panic attacks, we're fearful of something. And fear is just an emotion. It's just an emotion that you're scared of something that you don't know what's going to happen. So when I looked that up, I was like, so fear's an emotion, and I've got my emotions. I've got control of fear. Bye. I won't put up that finger, but I was like, bye fear, you're out. Um, and now I have no fear. Now, I will say that I'm careful. Yeah, I'm not going to go into a biker bar and, do whatever, but just knowing that spirit's got your back and that you have no fear and that you've created this reality. And when you allow nothing to hurt you, I'm not going to allow that person to say that to me. And if they do say it to me, I'm not going to allow it to touch me. It's like that. What's that kid's thing? When someone says something to you, it bounces back off. That kid's thing when you were little.
I guarantee you my wife would know it, but I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I don't know it, but yeah, it's more like that. And
Sticks to you like glue.
yeah, and I've heard that lately where even my mentor was like, no, when people shoot negative stuff at you and you're not allowing it, it bounces off and goes back at them like tenfold.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they don't realize it. So
What, like Wonder Woman with the bracelets? Wonder Woman.
yeah,
Ting
that was my
ting.
favorite. Yeah, that was that and Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Loved me some Incredible Hulk. So yeah, it's I didn't think I would be here. I honestly, in 2021, I didn't think this would be my life. I thought I would be, married, dog, house, everything. And nah, no.
I think that everything you've been through up to this point literally has been in preparation to make you what you are right now because of what you're doing for others.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
really do believe that. Now, speaking of which, you work with Dr. Lisa Brewer,
Mhm.
and you're part of the Lightworker Tribe. How can people learn more about that and connect with you?
Sure. So, Dr. Lisa Brewer has, I think the website is lightworkeracademy.net. And anyone can go on there to learn about the Lightworker Academy and the Lightworker Tribe, where we learn about everything and talk about everything under the sun. If you'd like a preview of Dr. Lisa, she does have a YouTube channel called Heart of Inspiration. And she does everything: tarot, astrology, astral projection. Her last video is in regards to the calendar system, the Vedic, can't remember, Gregorian calendar, and how we're actually 12 days behind Julian versus Gregorian calendar. So she has some really cool topics to share, but at the same time, she still has her tarot readings, and things like that. So it's a great community. There's no judgments. Everyone pretty much cares for everyone. And it's not like you have to be what is this? You don't have to identify as a light worker. We have students from all walks of life, from, yeah, every which way. So they can go to lightworkeracademy.net or Heart of Inspiration on YouTube, where they can get to know Dr. Lisa. And then if they want to get to know me, they can reach out to Dr. Lisa for a pre-enrollment call to see if we can discuss on how we can help, light workers and healers kind of shine their light a little bit brighter, get their shingle out there, get some confidence back, and not be so fearful of what others say and what others think, and kind of live in your purpose, because we've got some work to do. We really, really do. And it's a long time coming, long time coming. So, like I said, I don't watch the news. I don't know what's going on, but I just feel next year is going to be a really big, it's like 2020 went like this, 2021 went like this, and 2022 is here.
We're going to
And
find some balance. I agree.
I
It's
think
necessary for us to maintain our cool and not lose our composure in this world of chaos. We can create that inner peace and find some balance.
yeah, I mean, I hope so, because my road rage now, these people cannot drive where I live. And I'm trying to figure out if they're on something that's not big pharma,
Well,
because
yeah, you're in San
telling
Diego, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like I'll be driving and someone will just pull out, and I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I know, like you looked right at me. So yeah, that's what I have to work on, is that kind of uh I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a healer. I am of love and light. I have no darkness. No, I'm not going to do that. So
Oh,
we all have our
yeah.
struggles.
Balance indicates that there are extremes within us all, and it's up to us which one to focus on. And the incredible thing I have found is, like you were saying with YouTube, we find what we look for. We will always find what we're seeking, and more of that. And the logarithms that they've written for social media literally give you more of what you're looking for, just like the universe gives you more of what you're attracting. As the who and what you are in this body, whatever you focus on, you feed, and that's what you attract. Doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't discriminate. The light, the dark, it's all there within us. And when we activate it with a thought, when we turn it on with speech, that's what we get more of. And that's just the way it works in this physical realm. And that's good to know.
Yes, it is very, that's, that was a part of my journey this summer, was shadow. Like, what do you do with your shadow? Do you admonish it? Do you teach it? Because it's not going to change. It's going to stay there. It has to balance, right? It has to
You,
balance, just like a
you love and
battery.
accept it.
Right. And so what I do is, I found this meme on Instagram where it has, I want to say it's like the Bruce Lee's son from The Crow sitting on a bench with this normal looking person. And the quote is, me and my shadow self getting to know each other better. And that's what I did. I'm like, I gave my shadow self a name. I, send it love and light. I let it out when it needs to be let out for my protection, but I don't work on getting rid of it because it's a part of me, if that makes sense. And I know a lot of people preach, get rid of your shadow, get rid of your shadow, release your shadow, do all this stuff. And I'm like, but it's part of, like, you know what I mean? Like, we all have that side.
That shadow warrior is useful.
Oh yeah. It gets stuff done.
I went to my dad one time and we were talking, and I was like, Dad, I got so much anger. I've been trying to, replace it with light and love. And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on a second. You don't want that anger? And I'm like, well, no. He goes, why? It's useful. Sometimes you're going to need that anger for protecting of self and others. Compartmentalize, man. Whoa, 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 dude. Like, put that anger away and feed it when it gets hungry every once in a while. Keep it there and let it come out when it's absolutely necessary and required for good. I was like, that's deep. That's genius.
Yeah,
And
it's very deep. And the way he said it like that, that's awesome.
it helped me to sort of accept and embrace and love that part of me rather than reject it and think that I'm bad. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
cool.
And society wants to tell you that you always have to be happy. That's why you have to take this pill. You always have to be happy. That's why you have to wear this makeup, or that's why you have to weigh this much.
Yeah.
And when you're just happy with yourself the way you are, because it is what it is, it is what it is. And you're like, okay, I'll stop worrying about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, like turn off the comparisons, turn off those games that social media and big pharma and people in charge want to play and program us with, turn it off.
Yeah, I'm just done. So that's why I've reverted to CDs. I reverted to DVDs. I've I do streaming every once in a while if I don't have what I want to watch, but I've really disconnected from that. Let's just say I disconnected in one way, but reconnected to the world in a totally different way that gives me a truer energy.
Yeah. You intentionally activated what you do want more of.
Yeah.
I can respect that. I see that.
Yeah.
Here we are, December 18th, 2021. It's almost Christmas time, where everybody's all about the gifts and the presents. And this year, we're really trying to focus more on presence instead of presence. The commercialism of it all, the promises that we'll be happy if we get one more thing external to our soul, one more physical thing. That's what we need, is more stuff, right? That'll make us happy.
Not if you have to move. You do not need more stuff.
And time to spring clean and be more present with those we love, right?
Yeah, living with my parents is different because my dad watches the news, of course, every morning with his coffee. Mm-hmm. And one of the news stories, I was cooking his breakfast, and they're like, "Oh, tomorrow's the last day to order anything online for ground shipping for Christmas before it gets there." And I'm like, chill, baby cakes. Like, dude, chill. Because the way the news says it causes this panic is, I have to buy Christmas gifts. Now, I used to do that, right? I used to buy Christmas gifts for everybody. This year, I'm not. This year, totally different year. I'm cooking gumbo for Christmas. That's what I'm cooking. I'm cooking homemade gumbo for Christmas for everyone. Love. That's light. That's time. That's energy. That's everything I have for you.
The greatest gift you could give.
And you're going to remember it. Whereas if I gave you a wallet or a purse or a belt, yeah, you'll use it, but it's like, oh, where did I get this from? You're not going to remember it. So yeah, I've given up that Christmas thing. Of course, my granddaughter, I have to get her something, and my nieces and nephews, but for the adults, they understand more and more that it's just about being around the people you love, being around that higher vibrational frequency. It's not so heavy. It's not so dense. It's not so claustrophobic and pressuring to where you can't be yourself. It's more of a, here I am. Let's everyone get along and have fun. That's the thing we have to remember in light work, is to have fun, laugh, joy, bliss, whatever it is, have fun. Responsibly, don't hurt anybody, but have fun. I mean, honestly, you have to, because taking light work can become serious because you're so intent. I've got to learn this to help people. I've got to learn. I've got to cleanse my energy, and I've got to do this. And it's like, wait a minute. When's the last time I watched like Bob's Burgers or SpongeBob or, that show Mom?
Night.
Yeah, and just laugh. I did actually watch Bob Burgers, but and just laugh. Just sit there and laugh and forget everything. And now it's a dedicated time every day, an hour. I'm watching some kind of comedy, something that has nothing to do with me. I don't take it seriously. I don't judge. My new one's American Housewife. Hysterical. I've never watched it before, but she's hysterical. So I say that to say this is that being a healer, being an empath, whatever you want to call it, light worker, starseed, whatever, it's rough. It can get really rough, and you want to give up because you see where light's not winning, or you see where, nothing's going right. And the trick is to laugh. The trick is to find the fun game in it. So for example, my brother has 5 kids under the age of 9. 5, 4 girls, 1 boy. My goddaughter, love her to death, has decided at the age of 3 or 4 to not wear clothes. She wants to wear a skull cap, goggles, and footsies. That's all she wants to wear.
Love it.
Now, my brother could get mad and he could be like, I've got 4 other kids to worry about. Why are you doing this? No, he goes, you know what I told her? I said, okay, you can be naked, but you have to put on clothes when you go to school. And so she goes, okay. So she comes down naked in whatever she wants to wear, but then when she goes to school, she's normal. So you got to have fun with it because not
Absolutely.
everybody's the same. Not every situation's the same. Not every day. Not every day is the same. So yeah, I preach to have fun for sure because it's easy to take light work seriously.
Yeah, for sure. And the extremes are always there. And, you know, something that I keep hearing over and over through different podcasts and people and those that I would consider spiritually enlightened is that one true indication of the presence of spirituality in someone is their ability to laugh, laughter. And it's sort of a way to actually purge and let go. And for someone to have the gift of laughter in their lives through someone else, through the ability themselves, to see the humor in absolutely everything is such a huge gift. And in my opinion, now knowing what I do know, which is little, laughter is a great tool for becoming more enlightened, spiritually.
Yeah, because there's been times I've wanted to cry when certain things happen. And then you just laugh. I mean, I have dark humor and I just laugh like, really? Like, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. And okay, and you just laugh about it. You're like, okay, what kind of movie, what kind of meme would I make out of this? And you kind of just have to do that because your intentions may not align with someone else's, and things don't work out, but laughter is so key. And I know it's hard because everyone's pressured and stressed out and prices going up, money going down, everything. But just finding, like, I think stickers helped me with that. I don't know why. I got into stickers. I went on, what is this, Amazon today's deals or something, where they have the cheap deals, like 50% off. And I was looking for something for my nieces and I found stickers. So I'm like, okay, cool. Adult stickers. That's cool. So I bought stickers for $5. And the wonderful, most greatest sayings, love yourself. You are beautiful. And so I put that everywhere, wherever I am, in books, notebooks, whatever, to remind me to find the joy, to find, like I have a sticker on my laptop, keep calm and no drama. And it has a picture of a llama going like this.
The no drama llama.
No drama llama. Yeah. So find joy however your little heart, twisted little wonderful heart desires, because this world is a beautiful, chaotic mess. And if you don't have fun with it, it's going to be miserable.
Yeah. Before we close, there's one more thing that I wanted to bring up with you, and that is our responsibility to choose the definitions and the meanings that we attach to absolutely everything. You said that there's a difference between responding and reacting.
Yes.
Tell us a little more about the differences and the importance of choosing more empowering meanings and definitions to what's going on.
Sure. So, reacting. Reacting is when you're driving. I guess I do a lot of driving, so that's all I talk about. But you're driving and an animal comes in the road. Put on the brakes and stop, right? You're reacting, gut instinct, gut reaction. Or like for me, you're a little punchy in the morning before your morning coffee, and someone actually wants to say hello to you. And my reaction just, you're, responding is more of, you haven't had your morning coffee yet. The person comes to talk to you. And instead of thinking it's all about me, I haven't had my coffee, why are they talking about me? It's more about this person's taking time out of their morning to say good morning to me because they care for me and they love me and they want me to have a good morning too. And so I respond differently when I think differently with that perception. And so instead of barking at someone, "Hand out my coffee," it's more like, "Good morning, mother. How are you?" You know, and you leave it at that, and you keep your inner thoughts in your head. You you don't say it, but responding is more of a pausing, thinking about, and it's a fast process. It is like that, because if you take too long to respond, they're going to walk away, right? It's going to be gone. So it's a quick process of processing the emotions, processing those emotions into thoughts, processing those thoughts into the right words so that you do not offend anyone in the wrong way. Because remember, words, even their tone, carry that energy of coming out the wrong way. And you just got to practice. And how I practice was really being a coach and mentor, was really hosting, those Q&A classes in Lightworker Academy, because you get questions, right? You get situations. And there's times when I want to react. Like, for example, someone said, there's this thing called twin flames, and you're karmically connected and you have to be with this person. I'm like, I'll be damned if I'm with someone because someone else tells me to. And they just cracked up, and that was a reaction, right? That's a reaction. But in a response, so if I have a student that comes to me and they just tell me they've had the worst day ever, they can't make it through the day, I really have to process their emotions, process my experiences with that, and then use that tone of voice, use those words to respond to their feelings, to help them empathize. So yeah, react and respond, you think they're the same. One's an instinct and one's really intentional, really premeditated as to what you want to come across. And it takes practice. I mean,
a lifetime of it.
There's some very, I don't know what the word is, but people that just eat oil and water, just won't get along, just won't. But you have to work with them. You have to, live with them in your environment or whatever. And so just learning, as long as you know yourself, you can respond better. You really, really can. And that's the key. Know thyself. Delphi of Oracle, Orphi, know thyself. And after that, you heal thyself. Luke 4:23. And I'm not on the third one yet. Haven't gotten to the third one, but I have worked through the know thyself and the heal. I'm working through the heal thyself. So,
and I think that it's okay for those processes to be lifelong. We can always upgrade in some way. We can always be upgrading.
Oh, you can always go up. Always. Like you said before, it's limitless.
That's the beauty of this human experience. It really, truly is limitless. Trillions and trillions of possibilities, for sure.
And I wish people saw that. I wish people, as a collective unconsciousness, could see that they're limitless beings, that they can do anything.
That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Really quickly before we close, there's a neuroscientist, one of the most world-renowned, educated, scientifically brilliant. He's just amazing. His name is Dr. Andrew Huberman, and he has a very eloquent and nerdy podcast that I love because I guess I'm a nerd. And he describes this breathing practice. He says, look, if you feel like you're anxious and someone comes at you and you need to respond compassionately rather than overreact, he said there's a quick way to do it. And it's a breathing practice. It just takes 1 or 2 breaths, really. And he says, breathe in, fill your lungs completely, and then a burst at the very end, like 2 inhales, like a 1 long inhale and then a really short burst inhale, and then slowly let it out, and then try responding. And it works so well. It's just like, okay. And it literally, neurologically, biologically, chemically, it takes you to your baseline emotion of calmness. And
Right.
it's something that we can do any point of any day to really realign and reconnect with our true self of love and compassion and light energy, and it's so important that I think that we all make this a habit, especially in these times.
Yes. And breathing is free.
Yeah.
Breathing doesn't cost anything. Um, and a lot of people don't realize they're breathing wrong. They're actually not using their diaphragm like they're supposed to. So, you know, I'm still learning about deep breathing. I'm asthmatic, so I'm really
Mhm.
working on that aspect of the deep breathing and helping with my asthma. But another thing I've learned to do is drink water,
Mm.
especially when you're in a meeting or around people and you cannot breathe. Always have water, always. And just if some, just just okay. So what was your question? And that kind of pauses things a little bit too. But the deep breathing has really helped me, especially energetic changes and just that. I don't know if it's a tense anxiety. I don't know what it is, but I think it's part of the ego letting go of the control.
Mhm.
I really think it is. And that freaking 3-letter word just makes so much trouble
Yeah.
for all of us. But yeah, being grounded and centered really helps see things clearly. Because if you're too high in the clouds, you're not seeing the reality. And if you're too down here, you're not seeing, you know, what's up here. So, like we've said before, it's always about balance and balance of everything I'm learning 3D, 5D, feminine, masculine, dark, light, moderation is another one, moderating coffee because I'm trying to get off caffeine. So, just, yeah, yeah, just keep going.
Experimenting with everything, playing with all of it, and finding what works for us personally. I
I
love that.
do. That's what I've been doing because I feel it's my body. I earned it.
Mhm.
I
It's
don't
like,
see why
hey,
I have to pay someone a copay to tell me what to do with my body. That's how I think. Um, but yeah, it's been great talking to you, Pete. It's
likewise. I,
been
I really love this
really good
time. Thank you.
conversation. Yeah, it's been really awesome. And I hope that your healing journey never ends. I hope it just gets better and better and smoother, like
Likewise.
smoother, you know what I mean? To where there's no obstacles in the thinking, that you're kind of going with the flow, but more of you're not thinking with your head anymore. You're thinking with your actual energetic soul.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
the ego considers it an obstacle, and the spirit knows what it truly is as a gift, as perfection unfolding the way it needs to.
Well, luckily, I see the ego as it is.
Yeah.
This big.
And then sometimes, oh, for crying out loud, here we go again.
It does. Oh, Pete, it does. And I'm like, what are you
That's okay.
doing? We talked about this.
Yeah,
Come
that's
back here.
just normal stuff in the human
It is. Yeah,
experience.
it really,
So
really is.
I really appreciate your time, Elizabeth. Thank you.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
underneath the show notes on this YouTube podcast, I'm going to put all the links that we had spoken about. I'm also going
Okay.
to add some videos. One is a Wim Hof breathing video that many of my asthmatic friends have used this past year as part of a personal challenge. And literally, either that or natural herbs,
Mhm.
which was discussed with a previous podcast guest, Connor, has literally healed them from their asthma, where they don't even use their inhalers anymore. Um,
Wow.
Breathing, herbs, there are so many different natural ways we can all heal the body. The body was made to heal if we
Yeah,
just let it do its thing.
I know. My asthma's more with the seasonal changes. So
Makes
that's
sense.
the only thing we haven't figured out is why I'm so sensitive to the barometric pressure and
Mm,
changes and things like that. But yeah, I've used herbs a lot for my asthma and teas and things like that and tinctures. Yeah.
that's awesome. I highly recommend checking out Elizabeth's
Okay.
work, connecting with her, becoming a member of the Lightworker Academy. They've got a Heart of Inspiration newsletter on the website that you can go to get a small taste of what's truly out there within their tribe that they're creating and inviting people into, with no judgment or criticism. It's all full acceptance, with light and love. And I've seen that, and I know it's true for myself. Also, check out Dr. Lisa Brewer. If this podcast and Elizabeth and our messages have aligned with you, or lit you up, or energized you, made you curious, then dive deeper, seek more of what that is, and try and figure out what is aligning with your true self and lighting you up through this message. And if this isn't for you, that's okay. It's not going to be for everyone every time. There is no right and wrong way for everyone. Everybody's got to find their own path and let it unfold. So share this podcast with those that you think will get something from this, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Good in the Head podcast. Check the bell, ring that every time another one comes out. And again, thank you so much, Elizabeth. Any closing comments that you have for us?
I would just like to say namaste, which means the light in me sees the light in you, as well as remember that all of you are so loved, so beautiful, so strong, so courageous, and so brave. So keep pushing, keep trucking. Do not give up on your goals and your dreams. You can achieve it. You are a limitless being. So don't give up. And always, always seek help. If you can't figure it out on your own, please seek assistance from friends, family, whoever you can. So love you guys to the moon and back. Pete, as always, pleasure talking to you.
Nice. Thank you so
Sorry,
much.
speaking with you. Let me use my words correctly.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Take care.